This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenrail radio playlist. zenrailclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Portian Bakery. If you're located in the Portian area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Portian Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone can podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. All right, so we just got back from watching Top Gun Maverick, and I'd have to say that that's probably one of the best movies I have seen in a long time. What do you think, Vish?
It was really good.
Yeah, it was super good, right?
Yeah.
And like you're showing us. Well, actually, before that, let's talk about the original, because we did watch the original before watching this one, and that one was very odd. I was shocked by the fact that people actually liked it, and it became like so big. You know, if you go back and watch it, it's like on Crave. Yeah, the times, when did it come out? Like 1986, right?
It was 86, yeah.
Yeah, so they were using some like real footage a little bit. Like it didn't seem like green screen. Maybe they didn't have that technology back then. Like in the beginning, remember they were showing the planes actually flying around and stuff. And then when they're showing like the fighting scenes of the planes, like I think they've actually filmed like real planes.
Yeah, I think that there might have been real filming of the plane, but it's hard to follow along what
was going on.
What was going on, because they're filming from the ground.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. And like you're kind of just watching these two planes in the sky. You don't really know how they're doing, like, or what maneuvers they're doing, and like all that. And then whenever they cut into the cockpit scene, you're kind of like, okay. Well, actually, that seemed like a green screen at that moment, where they're in the cockpit, and then like the background.
I think anything in the cockpit seemed like and they're not actually in.
Yeah.
Either they're in either they could be in the air, but it's not like. They're not really going that fast. It's a lot of that camera shake movements.
Well,
if they are
in
in
the first one. Yeah,
in the first one I'm talking about.
I don't know.
I don't know if they were.
I don't think so, just because it didn't seem like there was any movement on their bodies compared to this one, because in this one they actually like filmed pieces of it in the ship, right?
Yeah.
They were showing that in the behind the scenes. The ship, no, the plane.
The plane.
Yeah, so before we get into that part, let's just finish talking about Top Gun 1. I don't know why it got so popular.
Maybe it just became like a cult hit, but like I guess somehow, maybe for that time, I guess, but I don't know. Like the audience at that time liked it.
They thought it was
good.
It
was
like that was the best they had, or something.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. And because it was like real planes and stuff like that. I don't know if that's.
I actually wonder, because there were so many like famous people in it. I wonder if this was kind of like their starting off point, and then everyone else got famous, and then people traced back everyone's fame to this movie. Like Val Kilmer became like Batman, right? Tom Cruise is huge. Who else was in that movie? Meg Ryan, she played that random cameo. So it's almost like maybe that's why people thought it was good. Like I don't really know. Like I don't know if it was such a box office hit when it first came out.
I don't know that. Yeah, I didn't look into that stuff.
Right. Like, so, but why is it such a cult classic even still? Like I'm just wondering if maybe it's almost like campy.
Yeah, it was.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like
it just didn't work for our time. I don't know if it worked for their time.
It seemed like so like ridiculous. Like corny almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all the stuff that was in there. It was supposed to be an action romance or something like that. That's what they focused.
Yeah, there was a bit more on the romance in the
first one.
In the first movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when we were watching it, we were so confused, because it was like, okay, so it's about him going to pilot school, and then he falls in love, and then there's only like one action encounter at the end. I didn't even think that they were going to have an action encounter. I thought it was just gonna be like flight school, and then that was it.
Yeah,
It seemed
yeah.
like it was kind of just like going to the end.
It seemed like that. Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's just ending with flight school, but then all of a sudden they got called to an actual mission. Although Sunshine did call that. She's like, I bet you like the last 10 minutes is where it gets crazy, you know? And then it did, and they actually had like a battle.
Yeah. Again, yeah. It was hard to follow the battle though, right?
Yeah, true.
But yeah,
I mean,
yes, they did.
even like story wise, it was like, this is so weak of a story,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
One thing that I keep getting hung up on is, I know I brought it up when we were watching it, but like the sex scene in that, because there was no like actual sex scene ishness. Like there's no like, you
In
know,
this
like,
one,
no, in
old one.
in the old one, in the original.
Okay.
Like there was a sex scene, but it wasn't like it just showed him. I don't know if you remember or you weren't paying attention, but like it just had him on top of her, and then like it was just their faces, and then he like stuck his tongue in her mouth, and then I was like, what is going on? And then that was like their whole romantic scene. And it was kind of like, what are they playing with here? Like you mentioned, maybe they couldn't film that back then, or like they couldn't get away with specific ratings. So like, how far can you push the boundary without making it too
Maybe
graphic or something?
possible.
Yeah, is an odd one. What are you searching up?
I'm just trying to see if I can quickly find anything like how well it did in the box office. So it says, oh, I'm not sure if this is for the new one, not for the old one.
Yeah, it might be hard to find like Top Gun 1. Unless you type in like Top Gun 1.
Yeah, I put
box
1986. What do you call box office, I guess?
Yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, also, was it, or did people go to the movies that much back then? Because like right now we're talking about like $400 million.
Yeah, I think more people
Like,
went to movies.
No, but I mean like worldwide, right? Like now it's like $400 million.
Yeah, comparative. Yeah, I understand what you mean.
So it's like, how do you compare? And like prices back then were probably like $1 for a movie, you know?
So yeah, it grossed 176 million in 1986, which would be 420 million in 2022.
If it was relative,
That's the 20. Yeah,
it's if it was relative to our time.
yeah, 420 million.
Okay.
420 million.
Is that high? Or is it, I have no idea.
Well, this one's gonna go way above that. The new one.
Oh yeah. But like, is that like a good turnout? I have no idea.
It might have been a good turnout for then. Yeah, for that time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they also didn't have Netflix and like all these other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so like probably one movie came out every like 2 months or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but anyways,
I think for 1986, it was probably a good turnout. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. My dad, even when he found out we were going to Top Gun, he's like, "Oh, I want to see Top Gun." It's like to him, it was like a big thing, right? I remember too, my uncles were really into Top Gun when they came here and they went to Wonderland. They're like, "Oh, a Top Gun ride." They wanted to like
see. So yeah, there's something that they made a ride out of it too. So it's like
exactly. So it's like
there's something about this.
Yeah. Maybe
but
like
the movie's not that
jets.
good. The original. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was so. But I mean, also, if you look at this, is why it was interesting to watch an old movie because it's like the standards that we have now are maybe just too high. Because remember,
I think that's the thing, right? I mean, all things like we're getting used to the current standard and quality of movies that it's hard to. Any of the old ones, it's hard to it won't match.
Yeah, it doesn't hold
today.
up.
Yeah,
but there are movies like when we were watching it, I was saying that there are movies that still hold up, like Good Will Hunting. But that one's because it was all drama. There was no like.
So that's the thing. I think it depends on the story that you're telling, right? So a lot of that, I think for Top Gun, you're around. It's all about technology to how to capture the best for these fighter jet planes, right? So I think. It's hard to when in the gunfight in the old one, it's like hard to follow along what's going on.
But totally. But so, even the storytelling though, like how they had the random beach scenes, like they were just filling it with so much stuff that we found ridiculous now. Like when they were playing volleyball, like why? Yeah, like they didn't.
Yeah, like they didn't like they had like that like the beach sports scene in this movie, but
I feel like they're nodding to the.
No, they were nodding, but also at the same time they were telling you that this is about like creating
teamwork,
team building.
But they said that. They actually said that.
Yeah,
right.
That's
but
what I'm saying.
The first one,
they didn't say that.
So it's like
maybe
weird.
it's like hinted at, but not really. You know what I mean?
But I don't know if it's like.
Like it wasn't implicit in the old one.
What does it mean? Like it was implied?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know though. It's like
I don't know either.
because like we're speculating on it now because he did call it out, and it was like, okay, that makes sense. You guys are doing that for that reason. Maybe they did have that intention, but because nobody said it, it was just they just cut to a random volleyball scene.
Yeah, that's what it, that's what it felt like.
We're like, what are you doing?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like some of these things didn't make sense, but they bring some of the old ones into this new movie, but they explain it a bit more better, like how to add it into the story.
Yeah, true. I do like how they did cut to the old movie.
I think it's good that we did see the old movie. That way we have a bit more connection to some of these
for sure.
Characters.
That's why I want to watch it, because if we watched this one and like we'd be like, who are these people?
Yeah. But, and like we don't realize the level of connection that these characters had to each other. So like Val Kilmer's character to Tom Cruise's character.
Right.
What they were like in the original one and what they're like in this one.
Right. And like the son being the next pilot, we wouldn't have caught that. We'd been like, okay, yeah, sure, he's the next pilot, but we didn't know that
the level, what happened there.
Right, like his dad died during the training mission, so it's like we wouldn't have caught that, you know. And then it's like, why did the mom not want her son to be a pilot?
It
is better to always watch it. That's why I want to see the other Mission Impossibles before this one, because like I feel like it seems like it's going to be the end, you know, of the Mission Impossible ones. So they might tie in a bunch of things together. I don't really know, but for context, you know. The thing that I also found really weird about the olden time movies is it made me forget the things that we used to do, like the high five, low five. They were doing that all in the movie, right? And like when he was just like the mannerisms were so archaic, and you're like, oh right, people used to do that, or maybe that's where it came from. You know, like you remember doing high five, low five as kids, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, where did it come from?
Right.
And it's like, we can trace it back to this movie, maybe. Yeah. It's weird too, though, because like in the first movie, when they're using their names, like I'm Iceman, I'm Maverick, and then he's like, these are my call signs. It was so corny the way he said it, like these are my call signs. But then in this one, they made it cool the way they sounded. Like he used his name, like, oh, what's your name, Bob? And he's like, no, I meant your call sign. They didn't say it like corny, you know? Yeah. It's weird, like looking back at old stuff and then realizing how far we've come as a society, but it's only like 30 years ago or something. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, 1986, that was the year that I was born when this original one came out.
It's not a long time. And then we think about like, you know, our time as kids being so different than now, right? We were always outside, and like I was at this party actually yesterday, and they're like, the kid was like, oh, can I go to this person's house or whatever? And then the mom was like, if I can't see you, or like, oh, there's no way to contact you, you can't go. But then in my head, I was like, oh, we would have just went, you know what I mean? Like as kids, because like the time was so different.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, so looking back at those movies, it's just really interesting. But all right, let's move on to anything else about the old one that you thought?
No, I think nothing.
His height.
Oh yeah.
That was one thing that we kept bringing up in the first one. We're like, why is he so short? He looked like kind of ratty. You know what I mean? And like his teeth were kind of jacked up still. He didn't fix them.
He was like 24, right? I think, or
he's
something
super
like
young.
That. Super young.
And he was like short, and then really short compared to the other actors.
Yeah.
And then it was so funny too, because your brother was like, I bet you in this new one they're going to level out the heights.
No, I think that it's not about being that the new one. I think ever since height was an issue, I feel like they've always had his...
Exactly, yeah.
So it's like...
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see if you just watch the original and this one, like, why is his height so different?
So different. Even in the photos in this new one, when they're like flashing back to old scenes, they like corrected his height.
I think
odd.
Yeah, I think it's like a lot of that's like any close-up shot, they were on the same level.
Yeah.
Right? Any if it was a distant shot, I think it was, they weren't showing too much of it, like a full body shot.
He was probably like standing on something as well.
Yeah, of course.
Or maybe wearing like high heels, something like that.
It could be,
like platform shoes, not high heels. Yeah. That was. But I remember when we were watching the first one, it was like odd how short he was. Like he didn't seem like a leading man. You know what I mean? Like he didn't seem like he could have been a leading man person.
Right.
Did you feel that? Because like he was kind of dorky.
No, I think that's why they did it like that. I don't think he
in this new movie.
No, in the old one.
Okay.
Where it was more like Val Kilmer fit that character, but they were trying to show like a person that's like a maverick,
like a rando, But it's weird to think about how far his career has come.
Yeah.
Because like he's now a leading man, but like when you watch that movie, it's like I would have never pegged you as like a heartthrob, or maybe they liked him when he was younger too. Who knows? Like ladies.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But he looks so weird, like just relative
but I don't,
to now.
Again, yeah, it's like we're relating to today's time. I don't know what was like the
sex appeal back then.
Yeah, what was the in thing at that time, right?
Because he's so jacked now, right?
Yeah,
like he's so muscular, and then he was really muscular too, but it was more like a lean muscular.
Yeah.
So like he just looked really tiny compared to all the other actors. Yeah. I mean, he came a really long way. And then him going to Mission Impossible, I think that's when he started to transform more and more towards like an action superstar kind of, which is kind of weird because like if you look at, he was on the trajectory of like high adrenaline movies.
Yeah.
But if you look at older movies, he didn't seem like he would have gone there. He really transformed his career.
I think you find your niche, your thing that works for you
over time and stuff.
Over time,
yeah, true.
Like you don't know like where you fit if you're new,
true, right? Yeah. All right, let's get on to the new movie. So, I would say that was literally one of the best movies I've seen in a really long time, and not just because of like not just because of the story, not just because of the action, but it's like how they put it all together and they kept the adrenaline the whole time. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I was thinking like this is a good like roller coaster ride.
Yeah, but not like because like Fast and Furious is a roller coaster ride too. But it's not corny.
I'm trying to find not.
It reminded me of like
it was a really good ride, like what a movie's supposed to be like from the beginning to the end. It was a good adventure. That's what it was. Yeah.
And the pacing was really good.
I'm
never bored.
Yeah, never was.
And then you'd think like how entertaining is it when you see people flying in planes? Like just like you pitch an idea of like, oh, these race car drivers like Fast and Furious, right? It's like kind of hard to conceptualize like what are they going to make the planes look like? Because we watched Top Gun 1 and it was like that was weird.
Yeah.
So what is the jump going to be? And it's like, because they filmed with real planes.
Yeah.
And this one, you're like, oh, you guys can do some craziness. You know what I mean? And it made me think of UFOs, right? Because like
right in the beginning.
Right in the beginning. Because like they were testing out technology that we had no idea about, right? It's like, can we hit Mach 10 or 10 Gs, right?
Yeah. Was it 10 Gs or Mach 10?
They kept saying G's, so.
Yeah, G's the force on you, right?
I don't even know.
Mach is the speed that you're going at, right?
Let's see Mach and G's. But then why was it always 10?
Mach versus G-force.
Okay, it's like a.
There's like other videos on it. It's like.
Are they similar in any way?
I don't. Speed and G-force. I don't know if they
differentiate the two.
Yeah, that's like. Yeah, like Mach. It's Mach 1 is or it's like going supersonic, right, or hypersonic.
Okay.
Like these are the different things. I think G-force is the amount that you're feeling on you.
So what was the 10 that they kept referring to?
I think that was only in the beginning for that plane, how fast that plane was going.
But they used it again at the end of the movie when.
But that was G-forces on him.
But it was 10 as well.
Yeah, I think that's who we're confusing.
What? But then it was like, why were they both 10?
Yeah.
Or whatever. That's a small detail.
I have
whatever.
to look into it.
Who cares? Whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
So when they were doing that thing in the beginning and they were testing to see if they could hit 10 Gs or Mach 10, whatever, I was thinking, like, with the technology that we have today, and then what is capable out there, and the fact that they were testing these things, it's like you could definitely think that some of the tech that they have in the lineup is UFO related stuff. You know what I mean? Like, if you see this thing like moving super, super fast and then cutting through the air like so quickly, like you could mistake it for a UFO.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I think they're two different things. Yeah, just to clarify.
Oh, okay. You finished Googling?
Yeah, it's so Mach is just speed.
Okay.
How fast you're going, right? So greater than 5 is hypersonic.
Okay.
And then G-force is just how much pressure that's going on the body. That's it. Yeah, but I think what they're showing was the G-forces on the body.
When he was saying 10?
At the end, yeah. No, not in the beginning. The beginning was how fast, how...
All right, but that is a small detail because I don't really know.
No, I'm just saying like those are the two different things. Though.
No, I understand that they're two different things. I'm saying that they both said 10 at the end. So
yeah, but one was the G-force on the vehicle, or sorry, the Mach of the speed that the vehicle was going.
In the beginning.
But
then
the 10 Gs is how much he's going into. But he's trying to pull out of the mountain.
That's so weird, though. It's like
That's what they said. It said 10 G. 10? They just say 10, or was it Mach 10?
That's why I'm saying we should just let it go.
I think it was like Mach 10.
Okay, sure. Whatever. Yeah. Like,
because it seemed because what they were doing was like it was like a very like fast plane.
Yeah.
So
in the beginning.
Yeah,
they were testing that thing.
So this one was just the amount of G, because when you're coming out.
But I don't know, because remember. All right, well, we're arguing about like.
This is just technical things. These are technical things.
We're just gonna ignore this now because it's like for me, I thought that they were hitting 10 because that's how fast he needed to go. Remember, he was like, I don't know if we can hit this, and then they showed that he hit past 10 because everyone else was hitting 9. So it was like, that's why I was saying in the beginning when he made it. Well,
this
10,
will need more in depth. Like, this is just only like a quick look into it, right? So.
All right, that's what I'm saying. We just ignore this now.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Oh, what are you reading?
If I find anything else, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So it does remind me of like UFOs, and it was cool because it was also like a martial arts movie. I was saying to you, because he came back and he taught everyone what he knows.
Yeah.
You know, and he was like, and then nobody could achieve the flight path that they needed to do. And then when he did it, he got like kicked out, spoiler alert. And then he proved that it was possible. And then all of a sudden they believed it was possible too. And that's like very common in humanity. Like I was watching this flow video about accessing flow states. The whole movie was about flow states actually. Cause like he kept saying like, don't think cause it's too slow. Yeah. So you have to access like a flow state. He didn't say it was a flow state, but like,
no, that's the implication. Right.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't think, just like do
just
it.
Do. Yeah.
And then,
it's more like trust your instincts. That's what it was more about.
Because if you think it's like, it's way too slow.
Yeah.
So this movie, like when I was watching the explanation about a flow state, they were saying that a lot of the times people couldn't run like these 2-minute miles or whatever. And then when they saw other people do it, then all of a sudden like 8 other people broke the record. So it's kind of like showing you him doing his own flight path, showed everyone that they could do it, and then they automatically excelled. And in terms of martial arts, it's cool because like those old school martial arts movies where like the master comes back and then teaches them, and then he's beating everyone, you know, at their own game. It just reminded me of like jiu-jitsu, where you like try and train against your teacher, and then he's tapping you out, and you're kind of like, oh, this guy's really good, but you think you're good. You know what I mean? Like all those new Top Gun recruits, right, or pilots, and then they were like the best in their class, but they couldn't beat him. You know, and it was kind of like, the master student kind of paradigm going on there. Yeah. That's why I liked it. I was like, this is a great old story retold through planes. You know. sort of like Avatar and Pocahontas. It's the same story, but retold in a different medium.
Right. Yeah.
Like instead of martial arts, it's like we're doing fighter pilot stuff. And also another parallel was like Star Wars Episode 4. That's basically what the whole project was.
Oh yeah, the target.
Yeah, like they had to literally fly through a canal, just like in Star Wars Episode 4. Then shoot a payload into this small hole.
Yeah.
Right. The only difference between Episode 4 and this one is they had to do it twice in this one. Because the first bomb had to explode the opening, and then the second bomb would explode the actual factory.
Yeah.
Whereas like in Episode 4, they were just the one rocket would do, you know. So maybe that's why we liked it so much, because it took all of these principles from other movies. It's sort of like Avatar, right? Like why did everyone like Avatar? Because it was basically Pocahontas, but in a whole new medium.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Like,
no, I think it's like a story that works.
It's a cookie cutter,
and it's simple to understand what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But like the whole maneuvering and stuff and the G-force, that's where the action's at, right? Seeing all that happen.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think that's easy to follow along. We know what we're trying to tell the story as.
Right. Because it fits into a box, we can enjoy it. We like it. We kind of know what's going on.
Yeah.
I was kind of wary at one point though when they were going down like the love story rabbit hole. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna get bored. But then they did it like so quickly.
It was very quick, yeah.
And then they just like moved on to more action. I was like, all right, cool. Like it wasn't dragging at all at any point.
No, I think that this one was more focused on the action compared to the original movie. So
yeah, for sure.
From the whole training scene up into the action scenes at the end.
Yeah. The opening scene, like before the movie even started, where Tom Cruise was saying how like we filmed this for you guys and we're happy you're back in the theaters.
Oh yeah.
It reminded me like after watching this movie, COVID, like movies were really meant to be watched in the theater. You know, like during COVID, they were like focusing on like online releases.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, yeah. I even thought like, okay, this might be where we're going. I do like the theater because it's like you're in an escape. But another thing you forget is like the sound.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And like the audio for these planes was like, it made you feel like you were there because the screen was so big. It was like a close up on everyone's face. And then like the rumbling speakers, you're like, oh, this is an experience.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like if this got released online, I feel like it would have been kind of
it wouldn't
like
be the same.
lackluster.
Yeah,
it wouldn't. Like, oh, that's cool, but it's not as like wow.
Yeah.
Which is also kind of sad because remember Avatar when that came out, like the 3D technology, and like we were like, oh, it's amazing, but you can't really recreate that now unless you go to the theater again. Because like the 3D depth of field, right?
Yep.
Like it made you feel like you were peering into a world because it was such a big screen. But if you do that on your TV, you're kind of like, you know, the movie, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It's not the same.
Yeah. So I feel like that probably would have happened for this movie. So I'm glad that they waited for it. Probably the best. Would you say like the best Tom Cruise movie you've seen?
I would say yeah. Actually,
you would?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that too. I was gonna say like Mission Impossible, but
there are parts of Mission Impossible I didn't like.
Yeah.
Like certain things or certain elements I do like about it, but I think this one, I don't think there was any part that I did not like.
Yeah, I know, right?
In this movie.
I know, yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I asked you that because I saw a post saying that this was, it's set to be Tom Cruise's biggest opening ever, like for all of his movies.
Oh wow!
Yeah, which makes sense. It's like
really
good.
Also bringing back the original, like reeling it with the Top Gun of the original.
Yeah, so you get the old fans.
You get the old fans. Yeah.
You know what's interesting too? Like when you watch the parallel scene of them singing at the piano, and then like the original, it was so corny. It was like, oh, why are you guys like singing at the top of your lungs? And like it looks so odd. But then when you watched it in this movie, I was like, oh, I get it. Like you're enjoying yourselves, whatever. Like it wasn't so campy, you know? It's so weird. The first one was so weird.
It was just way they told stories before.
Or the like mannerisms and like
yeah.
It's like, why did you like when we watched that first scene of them singing that Fireball song in the first movie? I was like, people did this back then. Like they just randomly grabbed a piano and like started playing and singing, and like people would sing along. Right, it's kind of random. But then like watching this one, it was like, oh, I could see this happening because they made it more realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's the realism in this movie was on point.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, all right, now let's get into the tech because it was real. So they were filming in those planes, and then Tom Cruise in the behind the scenes you were showing us, he was like telling them how to direct themselves, how to film themselves while they're in the plane and stuff.
In the plane, yeah.
But how would you, like, is it manual? Is it like remote piloted? When they're in that?
No, they're not the pilots. They have a pilot.
No, yeah. So there's a pilot in front of them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I was wondering, like, wouldn't you see the other person behind you?
No. Yeah, the pilot is in front, so
okay, so
they're probably sitting in the back,
acting, and yeah. So that's amazing. The fact that you did that's so cool.
Yeah, I do want to see more of the behind the scenes on this, how it was done.
Yeah, for sure. And in the behind the scenes, the one you showed us was like, they started off with 1G and then they 2Gs and they graduated 3Gs. Mm-hmm. They like slowly brought it up so that the actors could feel what it felt like.
Yeah.
And then when you're watching those in cockpit scenes, when the bodies are like moving around, like even Tom Cruise's body moving around, you're like, oh, this is real. Like you're not good like nobody's as good of an actor to fake that.
Yeah, it's
the
hard
body
to
movement.
Yeah.
It looked like he was struggling against something, you know, and even his face, like the tension.
Yep.
You know.
So you're trying to fight the forces.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when you watch that, it's like, oh, the level of commitment you put in this movie translated really well because we all felt it watching it.
Yeah.
And you said the parallel between Formula One, because you've been watching that recently. And I was thinking that too. Is like it's like race cars the way they're doing it, but cooler because like you have like 3D space to move with.
Yeah, and they're fighter jets, and you're doing a lot more things to it than just racing, right?
On a 2D, like on a flat surface, you're only going forward, right? This one, like he did some like flips and like.
Yeah, there's flips in there, but they're also like you're a gunner, you're a shooter, you're all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I'm very impressed with this movie. I hope about Mission Impossible is like good as well. Mm-hmm. If like, because Tom Cruise is pretty old now, he's like 60.
Yeah, he's so.
He looks so young though, right? Like
I feel they got to look some good makeup on.
On him
to make
true. Yeah. Oh, anything else? Anything else stand out to you?
No, I wasn't sure if they were going to put Val Kilmer in the movie because of his situation, right? Well, his health situation. Like he can't.
Wait, what? Oh, that was real?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so spoiler alert. Val Kilmer, I guess he has like cancer.
I think he had cancer. I don't know what he had, but he can't talk.
In real life.
Yeah, like it's...
That makes sense. Okay, because Sanjay was like, my sister was like, why are they making him like not being able to talk? And I was like, I don't know. I guess they're trying to like...
No, he's like that. He's like that now.
Oh.
Like so I was like wondering if they're going to add him in the movie because of his health.
Oh, that's cool. Well, that's great that they put him in, you know, more of a nod to the past or like staying true to the past.
His throat cancer.
Okay. Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they brought that up, and I told Sanjay, I was like, oh, maybe they're trying to show that he has throat cancer or something, and she's like, oh, that's kind of random. And I was like, yeah, it is random, but okay, it makes sense now that in real life he has throat cancer. Rough. That sucks. Yeah, that scene was really good too, but let's talk about the height. Did you notice when they're standing side by side, they were level height, but if you watch the first movie, he's like a head taller than her. So I was like, what's going on? Yeah. Even the old photo that they have, like the photo on the wall, they were like level height as well. I was paying attention to that because like the first time I was like, I didn't notice it, and my sister mentioned it, and then I looked back at it like when they showed the picture again. I was like, oh, they're level heights. It's kind of weird. Probably is like in his contract, you know, like I can't be too short compared to everyone.
Yeah, I think after that movie, because you could easily tell his height differences.
Easily tell.
Yeah, that I think that part of his thing is like everyone has to be
because that's like
level
the
height.
leading
I don't
man,
think that's
right?
what I'm saying. There wasn't any like long shots, like full body shot, right?
Yeah. There was like a couple, but it didn't really. It wasn't.
It was
noticeable.
far enough that you can't tell
Yeah.
the height thing, but any of the close-up shots, they were like all on level. So
For
it's
sure,
like
yeah.
there's platform he's standing on.
Yeah. I wonder. Let's talk about Meg Ryan, because I was like, that's random that they cut her out from the movie.
Yeah, we don't know the.
She's like a big star now, so maybe when the first one came out, she wasn't as big. So now she's like, I want more money or something like that, you know?
We don't know. We don't know the situation of what either conflict
true.
of issues, timing issues,
but they just killed her off. Like, oh, your mom's dead. Like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
but that's all they. That's what they did to her character. Yeah.
What else?
Somehow she passed on. Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. I was wondering if they were gonna bring up his like old love interest, which they didn't do.
Yeah, they didn't. They did not. Yeah.
But he had a new love interest, which was also like curious, because you're like, who is this random? I thought that was the same person from the first movie. So like when I saw her, I was like, I turned to my sister like, is this the love interest from the first one? It's like, no, it's different. So we were like, who's this person? And you're trying to like figure it out in your head because she wasn't in the.
Because I don't remember her.
She wasn't in the first one.
Right.
Yeah.
It seemed like the way they were talking that
they met like later on
before. Yeah, but I guess they met later on.
Yeah.
Like it felt like, was there another Top Gun movie in between that we missed?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was like, I feel like some stuff happened that we weren't privy to. It totally made me want to like. I mean, obviously I'm not going to do it, but I was like, man, I would love to fly. That seems so cool, but also so dangerous because. When he fell asleep, when they were doing the training mission, and then the G's were too much, and then he passed out, and then the plane was like going down. That was actually really cool when he's like imagine how much like thinking you have to be able to do on the spot.
For that scene too, like I was trying to think like how was like he was going to go help him. I was like, how were you?
That's what I mean. Like,
how were you going to help him?
Exactly. So how much problem solving do you have to do on the spot? Because when he said I'm going to go after him, I was also thinking like, what are you going to do? You're going to like fly next to him, jump out, and like grab him.
Yeah. That's what I was
but then he used the the targeting to create the beep, which woke him up, and I was like, oh, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
But it's like, wow, you thought of that in the moment,
right?
You problem solved. So you know that there is a real Top Gun school. Like it's an actual like field. So Commander Fravor, who saw the Tic Tac, the UFO. So like, he saw like the Tic Tac UFO on the sea, and he's from the Top Gun school. So him and his fighter pilots like saw that. But one thing, if you listen to him on the Lex Friedman podcast, he was saying that it's actually really, really hard to land your plane on the boat. You know, they just kept like doing it like as if it's easy. But he's like the level of skill that's required to be a fighter pilot is so immense because your timing has to be perfect. And you have to have no fear because if you miss the boat, because the boat's going forward, it's not a solid boat.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to like gauge your speed, incoming speed, to the boat speed, and then you have to be able to like hit this small target with your wheels, right? And then if you miss it, your plane's gonna go in the ocean. It's gonna like crash or whatever, right? And he's saying like it's so scary to just land. So people who are like Top Gun pilots, they have to have nerves of steel. But when I was watching him like land the plane on the movie, I was just thinking that I'm like you make it look so easy, but I know it's very difficult. Yeah. So that's one thing I guess I'd say. Like they made everything look too good.
Well, that's what they're trying to show, right? These are the top.
Yeah, the top of the top. Yeah.
Right.
But it was like too good that it was like.
Well, I mean, like
for movie, you know.
No,
but
like, as a movie, it was good in that general sense. Like nobody died.
No, you had to do it. All right. Oh,
but there's another thing was like nobody died, right?
There were some close calls. We thought Tom Cruise died.
Yeah, that I know, but it was like they did it that way, but like nobody died in this movie compared
Which
to
is great,
in the original one, right?
Yeah.
But it was like it was just a good movie in that sense, even though nobody did die. But it did put the pressure, like who's
gonna get killed?
Yeah,
it did give you that feeling of
because they kept saying like it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
someone's gonna die.
That's true. They're like, oh, we're gonna lose a person on the on this mission.
Yeah.
Like it's so difficult that we know that you're gonna lose someone.
Yeah.
Imagine that being the commander or whatever, to know that this is going to be a death mission. You have to send these people to die. Because like Tom Cruise wanted them to all come back, right?
That's why he was training
them.
That's why he's training them tough, right? And like having that time limit, like a very important thing, so they can get out of it alive. While John Hamm's character was more like, we're willing to lose people for the mission.
But then it made me think like they probably do think that it's like a suicide mission, you know? Yeah. That was like a cool real world aspect to it too, because it showed you that, you know, for other levels that like humans are just commodities, they're just like weapons of war. I do like how they said that drones couldn't get into this, because it's like, oh, why don't you just use a drone, because this is going to be so difficult. But it's like we had to fly only 100 meters off the ground to avoid the missile radar. That's really cool, because like they gave you an explanation for why the mission was so difficult. I don't know if they could make another one though. Like, what would you do? He's like, you already just made the coolest one. Like, how are you gonna create something to be like, again, a tough mission that a drone can't do?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. That's what they were trying to hint at too, where it's like, eventually there will be no more pilots.
Yeah, they did keep saying that. Yeah. And then Tom Cruise was like, not today though. That's cool. It reminded me of like the Game of Thrones. What do we say to the god of death? Not today.
Right.
Yeah. When he said that, I was like, oh, yeah, maybe they were just pulling all the cool stuff that we knew we'd like. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
These like catchy lines, like action scenes, and like storylines that we've seen before, but disguised as something new.
Yeah.
You know, to just give you a good experience. Yeah. But I mean, it worked, because that was a damn good movie.
It was a good movie. Yeah. Very good movie.
Now I kind of feel like, what's next? You know? Like Thor would be good, but like, I mean, this is like the most adrenaline paced.
I would say it's adrenaline level. This was up there.
Yeah,
like, really good. Yeah.
Like I really liked Fast and the Furious 1 up to like 4. Like when The Rock came in, that's when it got ridiculous. Like, because then they started using like gigantic tanks and like yeah. But like,
I don't think there's gonna be another Top Gun.
I couldn't see another.
There's not gonna be.
Yeah. Like, where would you go with it?
Yeah.
But it's good how it is. Like, now you're kind of just solidified. Like, this is epic. Like, this, I actually can't think of another movie that's more adrenaline than this one.
Yeah, I can't think of one right now.
Like, that's what I was saying, like, Fast and Furious. I'm like, that is the closest I can think of. But even Fast and Furious is, like, not as good as this one.
No. Because you're limited to the ground, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and when you're doing the ground stuff, it's like you also don't have guns.
Yeah,
and like the Fast and Furious ones are all about heists. This one's like, we're trying to accomplish this really difficult mission.
And there was some good. I also like this one. There's some good jokes in there too, like a little bit of like laughs, like near the end where the enemy's plane's right next to them.
Oh yeah, he's like, just act like we're a part of the same team. That was pretty funny.
Like there was some good laughs in there too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's what made it all. I think like overall like a good movie in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It ticked off all the boxes.
Yeah.
I also really liked when they were doing the close-ups and like they finally chose the people who were going on the mission. I didn't realize this till that mission, or maybe it was there the whole time, or maybe it wasn't. I don't know. The helmets had their names. Did you notice that? And they were written differently.
Yeah, I think I saw it only at the end. I didn't see that.
Okay, yeah.
I wasn't paying attention in the beginning.
Yeah, I didn't notice it until the very end. And I was like, oh, they all have their names on their helmets.
Right.
But it's cool because it was like painted differently.
Yeah,
and like it had their own like style.
Yeah, it reminded me again of F1 because they all have that too.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah. Do you think that they have their own planes?
I think so. I think like assigned planes for them.
Yeah, so I'm wondering. Yeah, right. That would make sense, right? Because you want to make sure that you know how to handle
I think so.
your plane,
I think it would
right?
make sense to do that. Yeah, you would have your own assigned plane, so you know like it's your plane.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was wondering that during the movie, because I was like, how could you be so good? Like, because you get like a handling towards your plane, right? But all planes must be built the same, though.
Yeah, but again, there's always going to be a little.
Like
I feel like you're going to tell, minor tweaks here and there, but like.
Yeah.
I think you'd be assigned the plane. Yeah.
You know what I liked in this movie too that they didn't explain in the first movie? What the second person was supposed to do. Remember in the first movie, you're like, why is that guy back there? Remember, like, in the first one when the pilot, I think something happened to the pilot, and then I was like, well, why can't the back guy fly? And you're like, what is the back guy even doing back there? You know? And then in this movie, it's like their job is to look around and like be your scout.
It's basically, your communicator too. Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's what they do? The first movie didn't explain it at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Know? But that is really cool. It's like the first person's, it's sort of like snipers, right? Snipers always come in pairs, and then you have the one person doing all the calculations and like telling you what to do, and then you're the one actually pulling the trigger. It's kind of like the pilot. Yeah. That was kind of cool. Because then when they were doing like the dog fighting scenes, and the guy behind actually had things to do, he's like, oh, he's behind us, or he's like on top, and then they're able to like feed them in. Yeah.
Interesting how they don't, even in both the movies, they haven't revealed who the enemy was.
Oh yeah, true. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, you're right. They didn't say like Russian.
My only assumption is Russians, but that's all I can say.
That's true. Yeah, that's so weird. Yeah, that is weird that they never did that. But maybe it's like,
you can't really.
Yeah.
I don't think they wanted to like
because then you don't want to like put the spotlight on, or you can also assume that. So then it makes it timeless. Yeah. Because then USA is always the hero, and then you can just fit in whoever you want.
I think that's
the evil
why.
person to be at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting that they did do that. You know what also this movie reminded me of? Like the first movie, it didn't feel like a war movie at all.
No.
It felt more like a romantic, like, why are you guys in
more
pilot
leaning
school?
in that direction.
Kind of random, right? Yeah. But this movie, it was like, it felt like a war movie to me too. Because the urgency was there.
I think the reason why it felt like it was a war movie, because already from the beginning they explained what the mission was.
Right. In the first movie, there was no mission.
There was no idea of a mission.
We're just training you. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, we want you to join Top Gun. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, but in this one, it's like, we need you back because we need to do this.
You need to teach them a mission. Or we want this mission to be done. You have to train them to do that.
Right,
so it's like,
right.
Now we have a goal here. We have an objective.
Right. I would put this like, it felt like a Navy SEAL movie to me too. You know, like I could put this up there with like, like other Navy SEALs. Like, what was that movie? It's like 13 Hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, so something like that. Like
13 Hours or Zero Dark 30.
Yeah, it felt like that kind of genre. Like you could fit this in there. Whereas again, the first one didn't feel like that at all. But they were a part of the army. But it didn't feel like an army movie. You're like, what?
No, like, exactly. It didn't feel like an army movie.
But this one did, so that was cool. Yeah. I do like the diversity that they added there. Because in the first movie, it was like all white people except for one black guy at the end. Which was so random because like, where was he the whole time? They just like slotted him in there in the first movie. And then in this one, they had like all different races, well, except for no Asians.
Yeah, I guess not an Asian. Yeah.
But whatever. It's like, it's all good. Yeah. So that was pretty cool that they did that, show the diversity. You know, anything else that you?
It was really good. As just like, I think it's a good, what do you call, like a popcorn movie? Like it's.
Oh yeah.
It fits everything, I feel like.
But I also feel like I'm gonna add it to Gotta Light My Fire as like a movie recommendation, as like the warrior spirit. Like even though you say like it's a popcorn movie, like it's like just a good time. It's like there was a lesson there. You know?
No, I know that's what I mean. Like it felt such a good movie. There are lessons in it, but it fit in this, like where anybody can watch this. That's what I felt like.
Right. Oh, so like Disney movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like because Disney movies have like a lesson, but anybody can watch it.
Yeah, I think that's what it was for me. What I felt like.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like how he returned back to save him. Yeah, there's a lot of like courage and valor in this movie.
Yeah.
Whereas the first movie, there's none. Like, I was like, what are we doing? Like, why are we watching these random pilots?
Yeah, it was a different time.
It was a different time, but that's why I'm so confused as to why it was so, like, beloved. Mm-hmm. Like, I really don't understand it.
I don't know what was going on at the time, even when these movies came out, the old one. So it's like,
right.
Could be like there's so many things going on in the world at that time that adds on to why it may have been successful then.
I was also worried though that was this kind of like, you know, like The Room, or was it The Room? The one with like they remade the Disaster Artist remade a movie.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
James Franco Disaster Artist.
Yeah.
And then it was like the worst movie of all time.
Yeah.
But then if you watch like the story of that movie, that's the worst movie. It became a cult classic, and there's like diehard fans of it because it was like so campy and like crappy.
But I think it like as a.
So like, is it like that? Is it like I'm just trying to figure out why?
I don't think so.
Successful.
I don't think it was like that.
Okay, so you think it was just good and people loved it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
that's weird.
Like
that speaks volumes about
the critic score wasn't that good. But the audience score really liked it.
But also the critic score is based on now, right? Because they didn't score it back then.
Yeah. I don't like.
You're watching like
Rotten Tomatoes, I think like whoever wrote critics or whoever wrote reviews back in that time.
Yeah, but IMDb wasn't around, so.
No. They probably. I'm looking at Rotten Tomatoes.
But I feel like Rotten Tomatoes wasn't around either. Like the Rotten Tomatoes more. Like
no. You're taking articles from that time.
Oh, really? That's what they do?
I'm not sure if
it's... you said it like... You're saying it like it's real, so I was like, oh, okay, damn, bro.
Well, you can easily check it and see, like, when it was written, right? Or who it was written by.
Yeah, but I feel like because Rotten Tomatoes is, like, new, that's probably why it was so low, because they're seeing what we're seeing, which is, like, why is this movie popular?
Yeah, it's easy to quickly check and see, I guess.
So you're going to see... what are you searching?
Just Top Gun in
like who wrote those reviews for Rotten Tomatoes? I don't know if they would go back and like collect all of the reviews from that time. It sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, it would be a lot of work,
especially for every movie. I feel like this is based on like contemporary reviewers.
Could be,
right? And like Rotten Tomatoes probably came out maybe 2006. Actually, that's even a stretch because it wasn't that, like, the internet wasn't as prevalent back then.
Yeah, they go through... It's just different years, I guess, whenever people posted the reviews.
Exactly, yeah. So, like, whenever the internet got big, so, like, let's say 2012.
Like, they have one here from 2000.
2000? Wow, yeah. Rotten Tomatoes were around that time? Damn. Maybe Rotten Tomatoes was, like, a physical... copy that became
maybe I don't know
because 2000 is a long well the internet did come out in 1993 so
like they have stuff from even this year but they also have like 2000 2003 2005 2010
but like I don't know if like collecting would be so difficult
yeah
But
but these are like classics, right? I don't think they would do it for everything.
But that's also why I think like it doesn't hold up. Like the audience score is really high, right? For Top Gun, but the reviewer score is not high. Mm-hmm. So that just tells me that the reviewers are watching it from now, and the people who are doing the written reviews remember it from back then, like the audience scores.
Yeah,
like my dad would probably give it like a 10. And he's like, oh, I loved it. But he didn't watch it recently. You know, he just remembered it being a big thing.
Yeah.
There also wasn't that much going on back then. Like, there wasn't the internet, so you couldn't see a bunch of things. Like, your media inputs were very low. So maybe when Top Gun came out, everyone was just like, have you seen Top Gun? Have you seen Top Gun? You know, it was like everyone's talking about it because that's all there was.
Yeah.
Like...
No, just seeing on the audience score going back, but
no, it wouldn't predate the internet though.
No. I was saying how far back can I go? The last one I saw is from 2000.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. I feel like there's very few movies that are still are timeless. That still like hold up. Mm-hmm. Like classic movies, I mean. Star Wars? What'd you say? That's a question. Like, would you say Star Wars holds up, episode 4?
As a classic?
Yeah. You know, like Good Will Hunting. That holds up. That's why I want to watch Mission Impossible, bro. I feel like I remember I watched the first one semi-recently, and I was like, this is kind of ridiculous. It was more like a joke. It wasn't like super serious. And then when 2 came out, it became super serious. You're like, whoa, all right, we're like actual spies now. Yeah. Like, you had bubble gum in the first movie that was explosive. Like, it was just like silly, you know what I mean?
I think it was like, it's the same thing with James Bond, right?
Yeah. James Bond was very campy and ridiculous back then.
Yeah.
It was more humorous.
Yeah.
And then Daniel Craig came out, and now we're all like, oh, James Bond is serious.
It depends on the time and the kind of story they are telling, right? So I feel like Mission Impossible is trying to find it. Like, the idea of Mission Impossible is already ridiculous, right? So it's like...
But then maybe the new Mission Impossible is the reason why I don't like them, is because they're staying true to the original idea, which is ridiculousness. Because Mission Impossible 2 and 3 were super realistic. There's nothing like crazy going on. And then when you got into like 4, 5, 6, that's when like Superman was there.
I think that's why it didn't. Like, I wonder, they're really bringing it back is because that's what made it being
popular,
original and popular. That it was doing these things that were impossible missions. Right.
Yeah. I see your point.
So it was, people wanted to see that.
True. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Like tapping into its original. That would be weird if, like, the new James Bond did that too. They went back to like some jokiness after.
Depends on what. It all depends on the audience, I feel like.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, especially with the way things are with like Fast and Furious now. Everyone loved it, or like those movies that we found ridiculous, but like everyone seemed to love. Yeah, like Doctor Strange. Like, what was this? But this doesn't fall in that category. Like, I feel like you like are like people who really like movies, or like really like in not just popcorn flicks will like this, but also people who like popcorn flicks will like it. So it's like it's a
good mix.
Yeah. Like, it has something for everyone, like you were saying.
Yeah, that's why it was hard for me to like. I liked the movie. I was up the whole time. I
was not bored.
I wasn't bored.
Yeah,
but also it wasn't like. Like, I was happy with the ending.
It wasn't heavy.
It wasn't heavy,
but it was also good.
It was also good. Yeah.
I really thought they were going to kill off one of the characters.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Me and my sister kept going like, all right, who's it going to be? I'm like, I bet you it's Tom. No, it's the son. It's the son, bro. And then when the son, like, they locked on, and then they were shooting the missiles, and then Tom Cruise jumped in the way.
Yeah.
Like his plane.
Yeah.
And then took the missile for him.
Took the hit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of close calls there, and we thought at the very end that they're both going to die, but then that's
what I mean. That's what I mean by, like, nobody died, but it was still a good.
The adrenaline was there.
The adrenaline was there.
On your seat.
Yeah, but it's like then like finding and like hopping into the enemy fighter jet. Like, this
is like humorous. Yeah,
it's a bit ridiculous, but it's also like it's fun that we're watching. Totally. It's not like
yeah.
That's what I mean. It's hard to
fun time.
Yeah.
It was very Star Wars-ish in that even when you said like they hopped into the other like plane.
Oh, true. Yeah.
They did that too.
They
right?
did that. They did that.
They do it all the time in Star Wars. They'll like take over another enemy ship. And then why did those the bad guys look like X-wing fighters? Like, right? They're all in black. And
because they weren't putting any color to them. They're just like, I think it makes sense to being keeping it neutral, wearing dark colors.
But it's very like Star Warsy.
It did have that. It did have that. Yeah.
But not it didn't take away from the movie at all. It was just
no. But I think that added to the enemy being like strong as well. Like, I think
they were like very advanced.
Yeah. I feel like that's
the way they costumed them was very advanced. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely worth watching. All right, let's go with your favorite thing and then the thing you didn't like the most. So what was your favorite thing?
Oh, the sounds were
brilliant.
Like one shot I remember, like from under the plane when they're shooting out the flares, the sound effect of that was
true. Okay, I'm gonna go with you on that, but I'm just gonna say like the cockpit scenes, because the sounds were with those cockpit, like when they're in the flying, like when they're inside the cockpit and they were like flying and everything that went around with that, like the visuals, like the obvious G forces on the actors was like awesome to see.
Yeah.
And then the sounds, yeah. So, yeah, I agree with you on that. What about the thing you didn't like the most?
Well, nobody died. But
I don't know.
It's not a bad thing. It was just.
All right, I agree with you, but at the same time, like I don't know how I would have felt if one of them died.
I don't know.
Like, I agree with you. Like it would have been cool
because they kept hinting at it throughout the thing. Like this is this very like risky mission. We're gonna lose someone.
Sad, though.
I know. I was like, we're gonna lose someone. But I guess the one that did die, well, Val Kilmer.
Okay, well, yeah,
someone did die, but it was.
Why was he so well photoshopped? His portrait.
Oh,
do you notice that? It was like, why are you so like perfect in your face and all that? But okay, so I agree with you on the death thing, but also if someone died, I probably would have felt really bad.
No, I know. That's why they added that fear in it.
But it would have been good.
It would have been good.
It would have been good, but on a different level.
But I think
serious, bro.
I think if someone did die, it would be a different kind of movie then. Like this is a bit more accessible. Serious. It'll be too serious, and this is right now what we have is more accessible to everybody.
Right, for sure. Ooh, good ticket sales. I like that. Yeah.
I think that's what like it fits like a good movie in that sense. It's going to be you're going to enjoy the ride. There's some fears in it, but you're coming out like
yes.
I got a happy ending. Yeah.
You know it like speaking of that, it reminds me of like rappers like Kendrick Lamar and Drake. It's like Drake is super accessible, but he's like not as deep as Kendrick Lamar. But Kendrick Lamar's super deep, but he's not as accessible.
Yeah,
because you're like I don't really like the beat. Like you were saying, he's a good poet or whatever. So, but what they did was a perfect merger between the two. To like they kept you thinking he was gonna die, but he didn't die.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like you kind of cheated us into feeling like it was a serious movie. Yeah, I agree with that. I was gonna say I
was interested to see how they were going to land that.
The new plane.
Yeah, the F-14, whatever, the old jet,
the one that broke the wheel.
Yeah, I was like, how are they going to land that? That's what I was wondering that too.
I was thinking that too, and I was like, are we going to make this another obstacle in the way? But I was glad that they didn't, because they ended it with the last nail biting scene where you thought they were going to die, and then the rocket came in and then saved them. So I was like, okay, that's cool. But I felt like if they made the wheel issue a thing, it would have been cheesy at that point.
Yeah. You know I mean? I think they were trying to do like realistic scenarios if something did happen. But the front wheel, how would you?
That's why they use the net.
That's why they use the net.
But if they had made it a bigger issue, say if they were like, oh, we don't know how to land the plane. Oh, we could die again. You're like, come on, bro. We already went through this like 3 times. It's almost like fool me once, fool me twice, don't fool me 3 times.
Yeah.
Because there was like, actually, no, they did fool.
That's what I felt like. It was like, even with that, there was like no like craziness because they lost the wheel. It was just like, okay, we'll pull out these nets.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if they didn't do that, it would have been like, okay, now we're just like playing at our heartstrings. Or you're trying too hard.
Yeah.
Which, in contrast to this movie, like you were saying, nobody died. In contrast to this movie, think about James Bond. And he died at the end of that one. Yeah. And it was a different feeling. That movie was a good time. Like, remember when we talked about it and you're like, oh, it's because it wasn't a James Bond movie. It was it wasn't a 007 movie. It was a James Bond movie.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's why he was more human in it. And like, them killing him off, the final feeling was like, kind of off. Like, it didn't make you. It didn't settle right. But this movie, because they didn't kill anyone off, it settled correctly.
That's what I'm saying.
You're like, okay, we went home. We're like, it was a good movie.
Yeah.
I'd watch this again. But like the James Bond was so sad. You see him like dying. You're like, he's our hero, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, but if they had killed Tom Cruise off at that one scene, I would have been cool with it. No, like, oh, he's dead. Let's just go home. I was like, all right, cool. Movie's done. Like.
He did his he did his job. He protected the son that he was supposed to take care of since he accidentally killed his father. Like he didn't kill his father, but like
Yeah.
it felt like it was his duty to take care of the son. So
and it gave you that feeling.
Yeah.
Because there was a long pause, and then they showed Tom Cruise wake up, and you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
They gave you it,
yeah,
but then they took it away and made you feel better.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is a great movie. Man, freaking Tom Cruise is a legend for this one. Also, this movie is like so good. I really haven't seen.
And it was really interesting to see, as you mentioned earlier, like in the beginning before the movie started, him just talking to the audience saying that, like, we're happy that you guys are all here to watch this movie.
Yeah.
In theaters. Yeah.
And it made sense because this movie was like this could not have been streamed.
No, I think, yeah.
I feel like the James Bond one could have been streamed, and they're making the whole big deal about like, let's wait till COVID's over to release 007. Remember, like, we waited like 2 years for that, and then watching it, I was like, this could have been streamed.
Yeah, but it's like...
But this one was like, it would have been poor if it was streamed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good on you. I wonder if they're going to keep doing that in these like spots, because it's not the first time I've seen the movie start with the actor thanking people for coming back. Like, how long before?
I don't think we're going to see it. Like, once it becomes normal, I don't think we'll see it as much.
It feels normal now, like COVID. I mean, like, it feels like if
we're
you wear a
back to
mask, you
normal.
wear a mask. Like, yeah, kind of, right?
Yeah.
It's like, if you want to wear a mask, you wear a mask, but if you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like that crazy urgency.
I think because this movie kept getting pushed because of...
Oh, it did?
I think
didn't know
so.
that.
Like, I think it was filmed before. Or,
okay. Yeah.
like, and especially you're using like real jets. You wanna, like, you're doing like a lot of things for the movie.
So much into the movie.
Yeah, that you got to see it in theaters.
Yeah, this was one of those movies that reminded you why theaters are so essential.
Yeah, but that's also, it's the audience numbers are dropping though. Like,
oh no, really?
Yeah,
damn.
Like the only way that's why, like, you have to only have like theater release or like.
Only in theaters, yeah.
But then that's what they're doing that now.
Some people are also waiting, right? They're like,
some people. I think more and more people are waiting. They don't. Really
that's so sad.
Necessarily care to
I didn't know
watch it in theaters. Yeah, it's the audience numbers are dropping, but like I think it ticked up when, like, with Marvel and stuff, but still, like, now that's settling down too, right? And how much COVID has affected. I don't think a lot of people are going back to theaters yet.
That sucks.
Unless you're like, the only ones who are going back are the ones who have already been like
had COVID. Yeah.
Or now have COVID. No, I'm saying like diehard fans of movies in theaters, right?
Oh, true. Yeah. I see what you mean. I was actually thinking about this another one. Dunkirk.
Yeah.
That one was another movie where you had to see in theaters.
Like Christopher, even that's why he released Tenet in theaters, right?
Tenet too,
right? Christopher Nolan a lot of these directors make movies for theater purposes, for watching it in a theater with a big audience. So that's why he was adamant about releasing it in theaters.
Okay, yeah, I could see that about Tenet too. Yeah, okay, there are certain directors that remind you why theaters are super important. But then, like, I feel like we're too spoiled with Marvel. That
I think Marvel. It's the money thing now.
Because like Doctor Strange, I was like, you could have put this on the streaming, bro. It didn't. Like, what was the thing about the theater that, like theaters? Like,
no, I know. Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah, but then
you know what one you didn't see in theaters, but I was like, this one was excellent in theaters. The Silence movie.
Yeah. I think I told you, like, you should watch it in theaters. Yeah. It'll be really good.
What was that?
Quiet Place.
Quiet Place. Yeah, that one. Amazing in the theater. That was crazy good. Because like they cut out the sound when they were deaf, and then you could hear everyone's breathing in the theater. Like, oh wow, this is like a powerful moment. Quentin Tarantino said he does that too, and he likes to hypnotize the audience and make them go through a roller coaster. Yeah, gotta appreciate those like directors.
Yeah.
For that skill. Yeah. All right. Anything else about Top Gun?
Really good.
Yeah, really good. I'm very hopeful that Mission Impossible will also be good. because that would be sad. You know, like you're so. Although it's almost like if you make such a good movie, the next one, if it's not equal or better, but if it's not better, we're gonna be like, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like now he's put himself in a place where it's like it's hard to get back to.
Yeah, we'll see. And then they have two parts, right, for this.
Yeah, so it's gonna be movie. So it'll be amazing.
Yeah.
All right, let's quickly talk about a few other things. First one, this one's a short one. The J. Cole being on the Scarborough. Do you hear about this?
No, I don't know anything.
You know J. Cole? J. Cole the rapper?
I know the name.
Okay. All right.
Can't put a face to the name.
Okay, you won't even care about this. But, okay, so J. Cole's like this really famous rapper, just like Kendrick Lamar. Okay. He's always wanted to be a basketball player since he was a kid. And then he went down the rapping rabbit hole. Okay. And he got signed to the Scarborough Shooting Stars. Okay. That's their name. Okay. It's owned by Drake's friend, and they're training at friggin' Scarborough, bro. Like military trail. So you might see Drake. You might see J. Cole like around Toronto now because he's literally played a basketball game already. Right. Recently. Okay. So that's pretty cool. But
that's the one you sent. Yeah, I didn't know what that was about.
Okay, so
I had no idea.
Okay, so I thought you knew who J. Cole was. If you don't know who J. Cole is, then it's kind of stupid.
Like I know the name, but I don't listen to him. So.
I just think it's cool. It's like Toronto's getting more poppin'. Like people are. Yeah. Now you have J. Cole like just randomly in the streets. You know, right? Might be downtown. Like, oh shoot, it's J. Cole, bro. I wonder. Like they say that about New York, right? New York and LA. Yeah. So many actors are around the streets that it's weird if you stop them now, because like I was listening to interviews and like in places like LA and New York, if you stop an actor, it's kind of weird because. It's like, have you never seen a famous person before?
Yeah. You know, I think this happens in Vancouver too.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah, because they film a lot of stuff there. Like I think my brother was like, he was there. He was like sitting at a bench, and then someone like came and sat like on the other end of the bench. Okay, yeah. And he looked and was like, "Wait, I recognize you." He was like on a show.
Oh, okay, cool.
It was like normal.
But if you like fanboy out, it's like, oh, bro, you're killing the vibe. Like we're all just actors here. You know? Like, it seems
we're all just people.
Yeah, right. But like here, if you saw somebody famous in like Toronto, like when Kevin Hart was spotted or like Jason Momoa, like, it was all over social media. You know, oh, he's in Toronto now. So that'd be kind of cool if you just like randomly saw like, more and more celebrities being normal. Yeah. Okay. Next thing is. I don't know if I want to get into this one yet. All right, we're going to go crypto. All right, so I was listening to two people talk about it at jiu-jitsu, and I did I tell you this already?
Yeah, you told me that.
Ponzi scheme?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was listening to them talk about it, and they were talking about like, I am like invest in crypto, like my wife's friend, whatever. And then this one guy was like, crypto is a Ponzi scheme. And I was like, oh, I never even thought about it. Like, so basically, and then I got the exact definition. So what a Ponzi scheme is I promise you higher returns on your investment. So then I take your money, and then I promise somebody else high returns, and then I take his money, and then I use his money to pay you off. So you think that you made a lot of money, so you want to invest more, so you give me more money, right? And that's kind of how crypto is, because you're really just like shifting people's money around, because you're not producing anything. Yeah. And then you told me recently about like Warren Buffett, and then I went to watch it, and I was like, oh, he said the exact same thing we were talking about, where you're just building it off of hype. Like I buy crypto, and then I convince you that it's gonna be worth something, so I sell my crypto to you for more money. Yeah. But it's like at the end of the day, you didn't produce anything.
Yeah. There's
nothing there.
Yeah.
You know, he said it like a farm. Like if I invest in a farm, I know that I have like the assets still there, which is like the cows and the farm. Yeah. And then they're making milk, so I can sell the milk. Like there's something you're producing.
Yeah.
But crypto's producing nothing. Yeah. So it's just, I forgot what they call it. She called it something really interesting. I think it's like the fool's dilemma or something like that. And basically what it is like you're fooling another person into like, oh, let's be worth something.
Right. Yeah.
But it's like there's nothing backing.
Yeah, it's just a scam. That's what it is.
But it's so big now. Like even crypto.com, like it's the name of Stadium, Staples Center.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they switched it to crypto.com. And like during F1, one of the promo sponsors was crypto.com.
Yeah.
And I've still not even went on the crypto.com website.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's going to be this bubble that pops and then people are going to be so pissed,
Yeah, it's dropping hugely right now, right?
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Like, I mean, the highest point was around 60, and now it's like 29, half that.
That is a hard fall.
Yeah, it's half that. So it's like, yeah.
Like Arbonne? You ever heard of Arbonne?
Sounds familiar. I don't know.
Okay, do you? There's many. Have you heard of like the vacuum one where it's like, or makeup knives? They do that.
Yeah.
You have to buy a bunch of knives and
I know
sell
what you're talking
them.
about. Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like a pyramid scheme. Like
it's a pyramid scheme.
I buy off you, then I go to another investor.
I've been to one of those things.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to one of those, and I was like, oh, this is dumb,
people,
bro.
Yeah, Filipino people love that. Like I've been to so many of those. Because you know why though? Because you get free tickets to like events. Like they're like, oh, if I can present something to you.
Well, I was looking for a job before, and I went to one of these. It was a knife one thing. I was like watching it.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, you were like they were trying to recruit you, or you just went like.
I don't remember how I got, but I went to one, and they were trying to get me, like recruit me, to buy the knives to start.
Start selling
to sell these knives. So it's like,
and you're like, but then I'm gonna have a whole stockpile of knives that I have to
why
pitch.
would I buy these knives? That doesn't sound right. Like to me, already it sounded incorrect. Like no, why would I buy the knives and then try to get other people to buy it from me? No,
that's a pyramid scheme, right?
Yeah.
So
like right there, I knew what it was. Like I already felt it was like this is weird.
Weird, right?
Yeah, I think this is before that I knew of the term pyramid scheme.
Right. Yeah. So if you switch on knife for Bitcoin.
Yeah, I've seen it for other.
It's the exact same thing.
I seen another one too. It was like something to do with, was it insurance or I don't remember what it was. It was the same kind of method. Yeah,
I went to that too.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like,
I'll never forget. So I went to it so when I was graduating, I think it was like my 4th year of university, and I went on like this job recruitment thing with one of my friends because she was like, oh, this is cool, like we'll make fast money. I was like, all right, cool, I'll go with you. And it was Primerica.
That's the idea.
And then when I listened to it, I was like, oh, there's a pyramid scheme. But one of my professors was like, because you're all graduating in business, I never want to hear any of you working for a pyramid scheme because like you should know better. Like you are business educated. You should be able to see the scam, right? So when I went to this, I was like, dude, it's a pyramid scheme. I'm not going to sign up for this. I think that's why I also don't like Bitcoin because like it's built in, at least built in me, like the way we were educated, like taught, like to look out for these things. And then even though,
because there's no real value in what this thing is,
and it's like, why do I have to buy something off you to resell it for more money later? That makes no sense. That's literally like knives.
Yeah, it is.
I'm buying something wholesale and I'm going to sell it later.
Yeah.
It's like that's the same principle,
It's the same principle. Yeah, you're buying it, and you're just waiting for it to go up.
Oh, and then sell it to someone else. Yeah,
sell it to someone else. So that means it's not
make someone believe that it will go up.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't even need to wait for it to go up.
Yeah, that's right.
I just buy it. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, Bitcoin's gonna be in. It's gonna be amazing.
Exactly.
You want in?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, I want in. All right, I'll let you buy only 200 off me because I need mine, so I'll give you 200. That'll be $5,000.
Yeah.
And then like that's how you sell it because you make them think I'll let you in the door by giving you some of my Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But I wonder why people love it. I don't get it. Like,
no, I think it worked in the beginning. I don't feel like it's working right now.
As an alternate form of currency, yes, it would have worked. Like they just wanted to like get off the grid and like we don't want to use your paper money, right? Because your paper money is backed by the World Bank, and the World Bank is tied to like not illegal institutions, but like nefarious, shady things like war. People don't want to be a part of that. It makes sense, but nobody's using it properly. So
no one's using it the way it was meant to be used. Everyone's thinking of it like a stock.
Yeah,
but the only way stocks work is because stocks are connected to companies that sell products. So it's not like a stock. You mean like
you're producing a product.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's a production line, but there's no production line for this. And then the thing that they try.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's why it's like even when you're buying a stock, you're looking at how the company's doing, how well the company's doing. You're seeing all these actual returns.
For sure, but I think people don't know what a stock is. A stock is literally a company. Yeah. You're investing in a company to make money. So like if you look at Warren Buffett, his thing is like, I don't invest in short-term gains. So he's looking at the long-term investment. So he invests in like Coca-Cola and like all these like big things. And that's because he knew that the product would be good later on. Like it would have a long-term lifespan. But if you're looking for a quick turnaround, like you're just gambling.
Yeah, that's what this is. Yeah.
And then you're not looking at it like a business, but stocks are businesses. Yeah. The Bitcoin thing just really rubs me the wrong way. I don't know. It's just because it's like, it's so obvious. And then now that it's low, it's like, I told you so. Like, like, come on, man. It was so.
Yeah.
And you know what they try and do with the Bitcoin thing? Because they don't want to tell you that they're not producing anything, their main focus is blockchain, bro. There's a limited amount of Bitcoin, so you'll never, like, this is what they tell you. They're like, like, money, right? Like paper money, they could print millions of those, bro. And then it creates inflation, blah, blah, blah. But the genius thing about Bitcoin is there's a set amount. So the amount of Bitcoin that's out there, you can never make more. It's like, so what? Like that has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
People always focus on that. Like if you look at because I've watched a lot of these Bitcoin things because I'm like trying to figure it out. And I'm like, this is confusing me. But then realizing that their selling point is just the fact that it's finite. So what?
Yeah.
Right? They're like, there's only 20,000 Bitcoin. So when, it'll become more scarce as time goes on and like, blah, blah, blah.
Just buy physical gold.
Yeah, why not do something like that, bro? Like, yeah, we could trade in gold, It's so weird. And then I love how they talk about like Ecuador being like, oh, they converted to Bitcoin. It's like, who uses Ecuadorian money though?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy if you're like, oh, Canada switched to Bitcoin. Oh, that's impressive. But like if it's an economy that's so small, who cares what they do?
Yeah.
Your like Ecuadorian money is just as, phony as Bitcoin because nobody's buying.
And if you don't think that they're going to add regulations to this, even if it becomes something.
Yeah.
They're going to do that.
They're going to, as soon as it gets big.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? So there's a big controversy now. So when I was watching the Warren Buffett thing, everyone's like, so the first thing that came up was Warren Buffett saying that Bitcoin's like rat poison. And then the one that's underneath is Warren Buffett walks back his initial statement, invest in Bitcoin. So I was like, whoa, he's investing in Bitcoin. What's going on? So I looked into it more. He's investing in a bank that accepts Bitcoin because he knows he's not actually investing in Bitcoin. He's just investing in something that will accept Bitcoin. It's like, yeah, okay, you guys want to play this game. I can still make some money off you guys. He's not actually like a believer in Bitcoin.
No. Yeah, it's the bank.
Yeah,
he's not putting it into Bitcoin. He's putting it into the bank.
My sister actually, yeah, I know, right? Exactly. He's turning the Bitcoin into real money, and then if you sell it high when it's up, then it's great. My sister was saying like, there's these credit cards now that you can use to pay with Bitcoin, right? But I was like, but do you know how you pay for those purchases after? With real money.
Yeah.
So even though your credit card is able to like make Bitcoin transactions, you still have to pay with real money later on.
Yeah. How are you paying back, paying off the credit card?
Yeah. So, and then you're going to owe more money if the Bitcoin is worth low, right? Because like with the conversion fee, right?
Yeah.
Like, saying like if you buy a US dollar thing with a Canadian credit card, it converts it on the day.
So basically cash is still being used here.
Cash, exactly. So it's like, I don't understand what you guys are saying. Like, they're like, oh, see, Bitcoin's starting to become a real thing. It's like, yeah, because they're transferring it to cash later on. Nobody's actually trading with Bitcoin. It's confusing. Balenciaga is now accepting, it's like a big fashion thing.
Yeah.
They're accepting Bitcoin payments. And I'm like, but like, so what? Like, what? It makes no sense to me. Like so what if they're going to accept Bitcoin? Like how are they going to pay off their other debts later if their manufacturing people require cash?
Yeah.
I think it's more of like like look how trendy we are. It's like a marketing tactic versus like an actual business move. Even
I think they also know like it's a very small number that's going to even use Bitcoin to pay for anything.
Right. Yeah. Because they'll want to hold on to it, you know?
Yeah.
Even some UFC fighters are like, I want to be paid in Bitcoin. It's like, what are you doing, bro? Like, this makes no sense. But
that could be just more of a tax thing.
Oh, tax. Oh, facts. Yeah. Because we don't have to pay tax on Bitcoin. It's not real money.
Yeah. Point. Maybe it's more of that kind of thing.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, that makes sense. Or the other thing I was gonna say is, or it's a marketing thing, because remember you said like Matt Damon was in the commercial. And
or it could be that. Yeah, if he's one of his sponsors or that. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I feel like there's like a game afoot, and people are just playing with people's perception when it comes to Bitcoin. Like if you really study business, it's like Bitcoin makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
It like fundamentally, Bitcoin. No, like the idea of Bitcoin would work if you used it as intended, but nobody's using it like that. So
everyone is treating it like a stock.
So what's the point? So it's like it has no. It's like it's no different than monopoly money.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's just you're trying to figure out the right time to sell.
Exactly, but now it's so down. It's like, oh my god,
you're just waiting for it to go up.
And then people like Elon Musk, love that guy, but then he like trolls the people. He's like, oh, we might have Bitcoin on Mars or something like that, you know? And then everyone's like, oh, Bitcoin, let's invest. And then it goes up again. And you're like, oh, he's just playing with you guys. That's like the prime example of showing you that the stock market is purely emotional. If Elon Musk can say something and it goes up, it's like, yeah, it's an emotional decision.
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay. All right. Second last thing, because these are actually both kind of dark. The BB gun shooter in Port Union.
Oh yeah,
where we grew up. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, in Toronto, this like sleepy suburb. Somebody, well, they were saying it was a rifle in the beginning, and then they took him out, and then they found out later that it was a BB gun.
Right.
But your brother sent a picture in the chat, and it looked like a rifle. I was like, how are you supposed to not tell that that's a BB gun?
Yeah, I don't think. I don't know how they would know if it's a BB gun or a rifle.
Exactly. Yeah, right away. It looked very similar, so it's like you have to assume the worst, right? And
yeah,
but it's interesting too. It's not the first time this happened. Like a kid, while I was working, he was on the bus, and then he had like toy guns, and then they thought it was a real gun, so he ran to the house, and then I remember there's like snipers all over, and then they got him to like come out of the house. Like that was more accidental. The kid just had toy guns. He wasn't trying to do anything, but like this person was like actively going around like pointing at other people.
Yeah.
So like I feel like he had like almost a death wish, because who does that, you know?
Yeah, probably something
like wrong, right?
Yeah.
And I think like it really points to an overarching mental health crisis going on in the world right now, or like North America, you know? Because like, why would you do that? And the fact that the cop said, because like in the report, it's like, oh, show us your hands. He didn't show us the hands, and then he killed him. So it's like, you knew what was going to happen. You probably just wanted it out.
Yeah. We don't know, like, his
motives and stuff.
Motives, current mental state, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to, even for the cops, to figure out like what he's thinking at the time, right?
For sure.
You can only think of the worst case scenario, right?
So my question to you, all right, so USA and Canada are totally different, right? Because like it's different there because guns are legal, right? So like if somebody's like, oh, this person has a gun, you're going to take it way more seriously, because like he might actually have a gun. Here, if they're like, he has a gun, it's like, but where do you get the gun?
Yeah.
You know, because you can't just buy an assault rifle. Those are really illegal here, right? So like, is the gun the issue, or is the person the issue? I know we were having that debate in the chat. Like, it was just me and Wob going off, but like, I'm just curious what your like opinion is.
In what sense? Like gun the issue?
Yeah, is like, should we police guns, or we should like help people? You know what I mean? Like what's
it's
the
better
fault here?
I think it's better to help people, right?
Than the gun, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like if we all had guns, like, okay, but if you're not using the gun, whatever.
If we all had guns, not using a gun? I don't understand.
So a gun is an inanimate object.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. It's like it's like that's why I was saying a chef knife, right? You can have a chef knife and then go kill a bunch of people, but most people will just use that chef knife to cut vegetables or meat. You know what I'm saying? So like, is it the tool or is it the person? I feel like it's the person.
No, it's the person. Yeah,
it's the person always, right?
Yeah.
So what that's really showing me is there's something going on mentally that needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
And media is really not helping because there's a lot of crises, you know, like war, raising gas prices, food insecurity, COVID, monkeypox, crazy. You know what I mean? Like
I don't think that's necessarily the media's job.
Right. Okay. But if all you're being pumped with is fear, right?
Sure.
Because that's what the media does, right? It's like the best way to keep people's attention is to give them fearful things. Like when was the last
No, I understand that. I understand that, but I don't
story?
think it's like the media's job to figure out like how this is affecting someone's mental
no,
health. They're just reporting on the situation.
I'm not blaming the media. I'm saying that the media is contributing to this.
Oh, sure.
And if you're just looking at this stuff, it's like, it's not the media's, it's the government, I think, that needs to address this. Because they're the ones in charge of the country.
Right.
They need to restructure things.
I would agree with that.
I'm just saying that the media is our primary outlet of how we view the world, right? Like the outside world, with social media, media in general. And like, if this isn't being addressed, like people need to know that things will be okay, or like we're out looking for you, we're looking out for you, and like all these things, right? If you don't do those things as a government, it's like, of course people are going to crack, you know? Yeah. And I'm kind of worried about that right now because it's like, where are we headed? It just seems like more of this could pop up, and like teen depression's at an all-time high, and you're like, whoa, what's going on there? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Thoughts or?
Yeah, I think we're going to see what happens the next, like over the couple of years, because I feel like COVID had an impact on a lot of those teenagers.
Yes. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. Right? Isolation.
Isolation. That is like not a good thing for humans in general, right? And then everyone was like online schooling. You're not there with your friends. It's
just crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, even like when I caught COVID and I was in here and like away from everyone, remember? And I was like, oh, dude, this was only a week or like 10 days of isolation, and I was already going like, what's going on? This is like, what am I going to do with my time?
Yeah.
You know. But imagine the people that had to do that for 2 years, you know, or like the kids. And then the kids are thinking like, what's my future going to be like?
Yeah.
I mean, we all had that problem, but like we weren't dealing with a friggin' pandemic.
We weren't dealing exactly.
Crazy gas prices. They're back up right now. It's like 205. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. And it's like, where will we be? Where will we be going forward? That's actually why I voted NDP, full disclosure, because I was kind of like, we were doing liberal, and actually your brother convinced me because I was like, oh, I like the policies of the NDP, but I was like, oh, it's a throwaway vote. I got to go liberal. And then your brother was like, if you don't change, nothing will change. And I was like, facts. All right, I'm voting NDP. You know, because like, that's true. He's like, if everyone just thinks like that, they'll just keep doing that.
Exactly, because if everyone else is thinking the same way as you,
like, then
no one is voting for their party that they want to win.
Right.
I
even brought that up to my sister, and like, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna vote NDP, and she's like, oh, it's a waste of a vote. And I was like, exactly. Everyone thinks that because it's always been liberal conservative.
I think most people would think that.
Yeah.
But then it's like, if most people of those people that's saying that actually did vote for NDP, I feel
exactly. So now I'm like, how much could we change if we just start changing things? Like ourselves, you know? It's like, okay, you want a difference? Vote differently. I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to vote differently. Like, let's see what happens. I mean, conservatives might win again, but it's like, it's a step in the right direction.
It's a likelihood, but yes.
Right, but you see what I'm saying? It's like, at least now.
We don't know, like, it can still be different at the end result, but yeah. But you could have like a minority.
Or something like, or like maybe motivate people next time. It's like, oh, NDP were so close, and then other people are like, oh, really?
It could help next. Yeah, exactly.
Actually, your brother was saying that in the West Rouge chat, it was going around like NDP lost by only 900 votes in our area. So then they were making this push like, let's vote for them, you know? So maybe that'll help. You know, like these small actions might actually make differences. Who knows? I mean, like conservatives might win as a whole, but like if Port Union becomes
but for
NDP,
your riding, for your area.
Yeah, exactly.
Locally, it should be.
Yeah. And your brother was saying, like, he's reading the chat of the West Rouge group, and he's saying that, like, the liberals and the conservatives, they don't even show up to the local thing because they kind of know they won, but the NDP person comes to every single one. And I'm like, that's who you should vote for. Like, somebody who seems like they care, not somebody who's like, why would I show up? One of our party's going to win anyways. Right. You know? Yeah, that's the way to change things, though. Like, by actually affecting change by changing your actions.
By taking action, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully. And the thing that really got me, it's so funny. The thing that really got me for NDP, I think liberals are doing this too, but then I went NDP because I was like, yeah, let's go with what your brother said. Like, let's see active change. The 4-day work week. I saw that they were doing that in different parts of the world. And NDP was like, we'll try and implement a 4-day work week. I was like, cool. Like, that would be much better, like less. But that would really suck if like your pay gets reduced. But like, I don't think that's gonna happen. But we'll see.
Yeah, that's what's they go through the what do you call it, like a trial run, right?
Oh, right, yeah. See if it's working.
And see how that works.
Yeah,
I'm sure they would. I don't know, like how their plan would that be? How their plan would be like? Like, would you get paid the same amount, even though you're working like 8 hours less, right?
Hopefully,
like if you get paid the same as 40 hours, but you're working like.
How would you even offset that? You know?
Yeah.
Do you see that meme where it's like,
or they have to compensate, like the government at the beginning, probably like the government.
I was about to say that, like, so the government would have to intervene, right? And do you see that meme where like the like black people have been asking for the reparations forever, and then the government was like, we don't have any money, and then COVID happened, and then everyone got like 1,200, and they're like, gee, you guys had money, you know? So it's like when push comes to shove, like they definitely have money that they can shift around. They just didn't feel the need to do it yet, you know? So maybe with the 4-day work week, they're like, they'll put some money.
Well, those the reparation things, that's mainly the U.S., so.
I know.
I mean, they paid everyone, right?
Yeah, that's why
we didn't get any money.
That's why they were pissed. I'm saying, like that's where the meme came from. It wasn't a Canadian meme; it was an American meme.
Yeah, no. I think
about the reparations.
Yeah. But you can look at it different ways. Like who should get reparations, who doesn't get. Then that causes when it's just like giving everyone a paycheck.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, see, that's why when we were talking about it in the chat, and like Canada always confuses itself as the U.S., but we're not, you know, because like when they're like, oh, because the shooting happened in the U.S., that's why the BB gun thing happened in Canada, and I was like, we're living in two different like guns are legal there, not legal here. Like the whole systems are totally different, but we have this funny way of like thinking we're the exact same, but we're not. You know, like when you said the reparations thing, it's like Canada was a safe haven for black people. Like what?
Yeah, it's like reparations is a different kind.
It's a U.S. thing. That's not our.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Not that there isn't racism here, though. Obviously there is.
Of course, it's not.
But it's not like we're not the same as U.S. Yeah. Okay. Final thing. Anything else about that?
Yeah. Oh, the investigation is still going on. They have to find out.
Oh yeah. I forgot. I thought that's what we were talking about. We went down the political rabbit hole.
We did, yeah. Like, yeah. When the SIU is doing their thing, like there's a lot, like in that whole chat, like people talking about this person said they saw this happen.
Hearsay, bro.
I thought we know that eyewitness is not the best.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. and it's not even an eyewitness account. It's a hearsay from an eyewitness.
That's even like, worse. Oh, okay, that's even like, it's 2 steps back, right?
So so just let them do their job. That's why there's protocols.
I think that's the issue that I have with people have gotten used to this wanting breaking news, wanting information as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
But when you do that, you're not going to get the right information.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to let them do their job.
You have to let it.
That's why I thought that was so funny too. It's like, but I want the info now. I'm like, dude, it's not social media. Like, you will get things wrong.
You want, we've been inundated with this idea of breaking news, right? And
Totally.
Instantly we get something, but it's never the right information when we get instantly.
And then how many people watch the like when people
corrections?
walk the corrections.
Yeah.
Who watches that? Nobody watches that. We just remember the one thing.
Exactly.
Well, no, technically the only one that we see is the Amber Heard trial. That's the only one we're all paying attention to. That it's because it's like a very popular trial, obviously, but
well, it's a famous actor,
right? But you can't do that for every single incorrect thing, right? But like that is one example of an incorrect statement being rectified. But if that trial,
but how long did it take? That's not like right away.
That's what I mean.
And it took a trial.
So like imagine if she was just like, oh, actually, I lied about that. And that was the article. Nobody would have paid.
But it's only in the U.S., right? Only in the U.S. you can
film those?
Have cameras in courtrooms.
Oh yeah, true. Well, only not on federal. You were saying, right?
Yeah, in what do you call them? In state courtrooms, I guess, not federal courtrooms.
Yeah, because that's why we didn't see the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. Yeah.
But people don't know that.
They don't know that, and that's why there's all those conspiracies. Like, oh, why are they
only focusing on this? No, because they can't legally. If they could legally put that federal court on camera, they would.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the thing. It's like we just don't know enough about how a system works that like we think there's a conspiracy. That's why I kept saying like, dude, you're looking for conspiracies, because like I'm sure he followed protocol for the BB gun thing when they killed. Or the shooter.
We just let the SIU do their job, and we'll find out the information soon enough. Like the same thing happened with like he brought up a situation of something that happened to this kid on the TTC, right, on the bus. So when the SIU gets involved, the cops can't say anything of the situation until the investigation is done.
Because there's like
even on the news, even on the like the radio news that I listened to on my way to work, the next day from what happened at Port Union, they couldn't really speak about it. They themselves were like, we don't have enough information to talk about
because
this.
You don't want to get sued. That's why. Like, irregardless of the facts, like they will sue you if you say something wrong. Like the parent will be like, oh, that wasn't accurate, and then like
I mean, especially when someone is dead. Exactly, that SIU gets involved here, right? So when that happens, you cannot talk about the situation of the case until it's
totally
resolved.
And then another interesting thing is, isn't it weird that jokes don't always translate over over through text? Because in that group chat, remember I was like, oh, they just rolled up and shot him, one shot, one kill, headshot. And then freaking we won't name who it is, but he was like, yo, can you believe they just rolled up and killed him? Oh, I was like, dude, I was just kidding. But like, then the conspiracy started like, oh, they just rolled up and killed him. They didn't even ask him.
But this is how it happens.
That's how it happens. That's what I'm saying. And it's like, I had to keep repeating, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Right? You can't.
It wasn't even once. I said it once, and then he kept saying like, oh, they just rolled up and killed him. I was like, no, I'm kidding. I keep telling you, I'm kidding.
That's what there's like so much context is lost in just
text.
Yeah.
I was trying to be funny with that roll up, but I was like, oh, you took it really seriously, and now you're looking for the conspiracy, like, oh, police kill people all the time. I was like, no, they don't. They really don't.
Actually,
They really don't.
They don't.
Out of the thousands of interactions per day, like this is one out of 365,000 interactions a year. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, that's why they do the investigation to see.
They'll get in trouble if you kill someone.
Well, that's what happened in the TTC case scenario.
Exactly. Yeah. But I feel like, again, like it's different in the U.S. That's why we can't compare U.S. and Canada. Like,
we don't have a gun issue in that sense. Like, right. And that's one of the biggest things. Yeah.
Right. But like, it's like, cops kill people all the time in the U.S. Right? Allegedly, not saying it's true, but like that's the stigma.
Yeah.
Right, or the stereotype. And then when you try and use that here, it's like that argument doesn't hold, because when you're in the US, they actually might have a gun. So the likelihood of you getting shot as a police officer is much more higher. So you're going to be on edge and will want to kill people more than here. Because really, like if I'm doing a routine traffic stop here, the likelihood of you having a gun, you might have a gun, but it's very low because it's hard to get a gun here. Whereas in the US, you might just have a gun like you bought from Walmart.
Right.
We don't think about that.
And no one looks into the full case of even when a shooting does happen in the U.S. Like what?
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, true. Like what happened after? Like,
yeah, because you jump already to the conclusion that it's cops.
Cops are bad. Yeah. Well, I mean, they do you know what? That's a perception. I was gonna say like they do have that, but it's like that is just the media.
Well, that's
narrative.
generally what's going to happen, right? How people will view it whenever there's something like that happens.
Yeah.
But don't look into what exactly happened.
Yeah, for sure.
To cause that scenario. Yeah. I mean, the cop can be wrong, but like not, do we know the whole story?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, for sure. And that's why I follow like I forgot his name, like Craig Hanurami. He's a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu brown belt, and like he's a police officer, and like his whole feed, other than like showing how Gracie tactics work for police officers, he's like doing community service. So like he'll be skateboarding with kids and like playing trumpet with kids, like just doing like a bunch of stuff, right? And I'm like, that's the image you should put out of like what police officers do. Like we should stop thinking of them as like killers. And the whole defund the police thing came out, it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like we shouldn't vilify a whole thing. Like they do a lot of good as well. That's why I like following that guy. Shout out to that guy. Anything else before I pose my philosophical ending?
No. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here's the philosophical ending. Okay. I had this revelation a long time ago, but it resurfaced recently, and I was like, oh, this is very true, but I let it go, and then it came back. So if there is only one moment, right, there's no such thing as multiple moments. Life is just one moment. Like there's no such thing as day and night.
Yeah.
Right? It's true, right?
Yep.
Like we just have the illusion of separation in time because we're like, oh, night, day. I go to sleep, I wake up, right? But if you deleted your sleeping time, or like you realize that it's just a cycle of like how the earth rotates, there is no time. It's just one long moment. We even created time, right? Yeah. So if that's true, if there's no breaking point from any moment, then technically aren't we already dead?
Yeah. And that's true.
Really think about that one. You said yes, and like I said this, like when I said this a long time ago, the person I said it to thought it was crazy, and I'm like, no, really think about that. We are actually dead.
Yeah.
Because if there is only one moment, which is now, then we're already dead in the now. That time will just pass, right? Yeah. I love that you just agreed with it, because I was like, I thought we were going to debate it, but I was like, okay, you see what I'm talking about though, right?
No, yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. And I think that's what the whole idea of like,
I think I heard this. This was what I heard from Ricky too. It's like,
Ricky
Gervais.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like it's been what trillion years of this planet or universe or whatever, right?
Okay, yeah.
And we're just here for at least 70, 80 years. It's like a dream.
Yeah, true.
That's what it is.
Yes, that was really freaking true. Actually, yeah, because it's such a small blip.
It's such a small blip.
And then we
of the universe
created consciousness in this time, and we think our lives are so important.
Exactly. It's just a dream.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, what do you think about this one? Our ego. I don't like the word ego, because ego is just so many things encompassed. Like it's like your self-identity, your like sense of self, like all these things, right? But I'll just use it as like a blanket statement for now. Our ego is just our ability to travel through time.
Okay.
Because when you have no ego, which means you're in the present moment, you have no mind. Or okay, I'll just say your mind.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Right?
Yeah.
If you have no ego or no mind, you're just living in the present moment, right? So there is no past or future, you're just here.
Yeah.
So our ability to travel through time, in our heads, it's more philosophical, it's not actually true, is like we need our mind/ego. Because if we didn't have that, we couldn't travel through time. We couldn't project in the future and make plans.
Yeah,
we couldn't reminisce about the past and like freak out, Okay. I feel like so you agree, right? Okay. So it's the second time. So I feel like I need like that's why I write articles, because it's like you need to read this whole thing to understand my one point when I say one phrase, right? Because I was in yoga when I was doing my YTT 200 or 300. maybe 300. No, it's 300. My second time doing yoga. We were like talking about something, and then I had this revelation through, we were like meditating, and then I came out, and I was like, guys, your ego is just your ability to travel through time. And then everyone looked at me like I was crazy. And I was like, oh my God, you guys don't get it. But like, it's true.
Yeah.
You know, without the mind or the ego, you couldn't go into the past or future.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously your body's still here.
I think here's a definition of ego, right?
Okay.
What is your definition of ego?
I don't think there is a definition of ego. I think people are using ego incorrectly. I have an article actually called.
Okay, what is your definition of ego?
I think it's no. What I'm saying is like, I think the idea of ego is just a conglomerate of ideas that people don't understand. So they can't say too many things. So it's like, okay, you get mad at me, right?
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, that's your ego.
Right, I get
But it's not really your ego. It's your self-identification state about how I'm reacting to you, or maybe it's like something that happened in your past, et cetera, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, how do I say all those things in one word? So I say ego.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, no, I understand that. I understand what you're trying to say. I just wanted to explain it to them.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you were going to give me a definition of ego.
No.
Oh, okay.
Because I understand what you mean.
Yeah, that's why I don't like, I had to write a whole article about it being like, the ego is like the 4-letter word or something like that. Because like, when you say ego, it just means that you didn't think about it enough. When people are just like, oh, it's your ego, it's like, what part of my, like, what do you mean? Because how can I get to the bottom of something and fix it if I don't know where the problem's coming from? But if you just say ego, it's like blanket statement.
Yeah.
It's like enlightenment. People are like, oh, you're going to be an enlightened being. Enlightened to what, though? Right? Like, to what?
Yeah.
Because enlightenment, the word means to, like, reveal something or to be illuminated, to realize something.
Yeah, it's just as a definition. Yeah.
Right? Literally the definition.
Yeah.
So it's like, so what do you mean by that? Like,
exactly.
Enlightened to what?
Yeah.
Like, people throw around these words and then they just sound more esoteric than they need to be. It just creates more confusion. That's why I don't like saying ego.
Right.
Yeah. But at the time when I came up with the egos of our ability to travel through time, I didn't realize that we were using ego as a blanket statement. So when I said it in that yoga class, I was like, I hadn't really defined what I was trying to say, but I was like I made the connection that it's really
I feel like
mind.
that's why I feel like that's sometimes you get, it's all about like how you use the definition or how they understand that.
Yeah, for sure. Because ego also means mind, right? Because that's like, but the mind is also comprised of like your temporal state, like your ability.
Yeah, it's like subjective, right? It's like your subjective self. And you're thinking
that
of
would be your ego as well.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
But that's why I don't like to use the word ego, because it's like, which part of my ego are you talking about?
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That was really easy. We just agreed on the two things. Okay. Because I thought those two things were like huge, like realizing that we're already dead. Like, not in like a bad way.
No, it's not a bad way.
But just more like a mind blow. It's like, whoa. And there's this thing, Prakriti and Prashua. So Prakriti is nature. So it's like all things that change. Like anything that changes, like any physical thing, like I'm touching the table right now, that is Prakriti. Like our physical world that changes is called Prakriti.
Okay.
And then Prashua is the timeless being. That's what they call it in yoga. Okay. Or your soul, right? It's like, it sees past time. I think if you think in terms of like, in this moment we're already dead, then you are timeless, because you can see that time is an illusion. It's like, it's just one long moment, right?
Yeah.
But we just create the illusion of multiple moments.
Yeah. I mean, it's an illusion. Yes.
And this one person who tried to explain it to me, I also don't believe that they understood it fully yet, because they're like, the moment is this moment, this moment, this moment, this moment. I'm like, no, actually, now looking back, it's like, there is no this moment, this moment, this moment. It's actually just one moment. Because even going like this moment, this moment, this moment, you're creating a separation of this moment.
Of moments, yeah.
Or of moments when there's only one moment, you know? Yeah, it's true. When you like think about it, it's like, so I really wish that Neuralink was here so that I can show you what I'm seeing in my head, but I can't articulate it in words. But it's almost like, and I've read this in like, this is almost like how, this is like how a lot of things get
mistranslated.
I was about to say, spiritual texts, when you read them, you're like,
because we're limited to
words.
To words.
And what's worse is we're limited to a vocabulary with limited words. Because like in other languages, they have like 5 definitions for love. Like there's like different ways to describe levels of love.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
we don't have that word. We just use love.
Also, the thing is like, English is like I don't want to say Christian, but it's like it comes from the Abrahamic side of thinking.
Yeah.
Where there's like other languages come from the Eastern philosophies.
Oh, yes.
So they have specific words for different meanings, but they wouldn't have those terms in English because those don't exist in the Abrahamic realm.
I know what you mean.
You know what I'm trying to say?
No, I know what you mean. So like in like Abrahamic traditions, they're more they're more separate.
Yeah, there's a separation.
Like you and me, right?
Like there's one. There's like one thing that people really misunderstand because it's like I was listening to it on a TikTok live where it's like I think the guy could not understand that everyone has an idol or an image of a god whenever they're praying.
Okay.
But like when they physically see an idol, like in Hinduism or something, that doesn't mean they're praying to that idol. That idol is a representation of God.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
It's more broader. It's like that is more of the idol helps in concentration, right?
I'll give you something that links just to this. And this is also why I hate fantasy books. Because when you say Gryffindor or a griffin, I have no idea what you're talking about. But then when I see it in Harry Potter, I'm like, oh, that's what it is. So it's a way to concentrate the mind and be like, this is kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Like,
but like
if
a person isn't understanding that concept, they only understand that idol is you're worshiping the statue only.
Yeah, for sure.
No, that's not what it means. That's not what they're doing.
Right. Yeah, totally.
But this was the clash that I saw on the TikTok some live.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
But it's because it's coming from only their perspective of like the Abrahamic perspective, right?
Which is you shouldn't have any idols.
Yeah.
So like those, like, yeah, no.
They've already set that definition.
Yeah.
For idols, but the idols mean differently
because they can't see the non-material. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like when they see you praying to an idol, they're like, why are you praying to that statue?
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I'm not praying to the statue, bro. It's a representation of something else. But we don't have that definition. Like English doesn't because it comes from an Abrahamic tradition, which is all about like literalism or like separate. Like it's like there's no.
Well, I mean, I guess I would say like they have their definition of idol means different than what idol means in Hinduism.
They think you're worshiping like an actual thing, but it's like I know what you mean. Yeah. But that's you know what's a great like if you're listening to this, you're like, what are they talking about? Watch Arrival.
Yes.
Because when they explain how the reason why the movie Arrival is amazing is because they show you that your language defines your thought process. So that's why she was able to travel through time later on because she understood their language.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like, however we're talking to ourselves in our head is how we perceive the world. But if you have a more robust way of saying things, like if you didn't understand the idol thing that we were just talking about, but I understood what you were saying, like if like the listeners don't understand what we were just talking about, it's because you don't have that definition in your vocabulary or that reference point.
Yeah.
And that's why you can't you're having a hard time comprehending what it is we're saying. But I got you right away because I'm like, because I understand that Eastern thing because I've like looked into it. So when you're saying that to me, I'm like, yeah, I get what you mean. But because we have a shared language in order to like peer into that world, just like in Arrival, like she could travel through time like them because they shared that language.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's trippy. Okay, all right, final thing, because I'm like listening to us talk and like thinking about it, it's like there's just so much unpacking to do with a lot of the things we say. And it's like if you get it, you've already done the work.
Yeah.
To get it. It's almost like we can't teach you it. You know what I'm saying? Like the young Yoda stuff. I was like putting out all this young Yoda stuff, and like it's very arbitrary and hard to grasp. But then this like BJJ guy that I really like, he like followed me because I have said something about him, and then he went through my Twitter and started resharing a bunch of young Yoda. I was like, oh, you understand it, because I watched his video. That's why I cut it up, and I'm like, he's talking about like all of us being one,
right?
And then a lot of my young Yoda posts are all about that too. But if you don't understand, it's because you don't get the context from which I'm saying it. So it's like you kind of have to do your own independent study to understand what we're talking about. And I feel like that's kind of some weirdo stuff, bro. Because it's like, what are we talking about? You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
it's
in
so
some
fringe.
ways, in some ways you would have to have already done your own level of knowledge to reach this point, of understanding.
Because I can totally understand how what we're saying makes no sense.
Yeah.
But it makes sense to you and I, because it's like, oh, I get where you're referencing that from, and like, well, like I've seen things like that. Well, that's why I was able to make the jump from the Gryffindor. I was like, oh, I get what you're saying. It's sort of like Gryffindor and what I see in my mind or whatever. Yeah. Sucks for you guys. Anyways, that's all I got.
Yeah, if you have a hard time understanding, then you got a lot more reading to do. That's what that is.
But it's like we're not crazy. Like, it's like, you know what it's like? It's like when Tara talks about doctor stuff. I'm like, I have no idea what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
It's like,
This is out of my purview of knowledge.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's kind of like that. Like, she's not wrong in what she's saying because she's obviously a doctor. But
of course.
It's like, but to conceptualize and contextualize it, I can't do it because I don't have the knowledge base that she does and the education. Yeah. All right. I think we're being signaled to stop. How long is this so far?
It's 2 hours.
Oh my God, it's a long one. All right. Let's end it there. We were literally just talking about how genius you are. I'm looking at Tara right now. Yeah, we are. All right, that's all. All right, take it easy, Bish.
Peace.
Bye. All right, hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors, Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, Bish.
Peace.